Hello, PEI, and welcome back to another deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're getting into something really practical, especially if you're thinking about selling your place. Getting it ready not just for viewings, but for actual offers.
Yeah, getting that sold sign up.
Exactly. And we've got some fantastic insights for this, pulling from content and advice provided by Mike Montague, Remax Charlottetown. He's your island realtor, after all.
That's right. Mike's experience really highlights what works. We're looking at avoiding those common deal breakers, and focusing on things that give you the most bang for your buck.
Right. Smart moves, and maybe even some things you don't need to worry about fixing, which is always good news.
Definitely saves time and money.
So the goal here is to give you some really actionable advice to make your PEI home super appealing to buyers. Ready to jump in?
Let's do it. Where should we start? Maybe the outside. First impressions.
Good call. Curb appeal. Sounds cliche, but it's huge, isn't it? That first glance from the street.
Oh, absolutely. Buyers make snap judgments. If the outside looks neglected, they might assume the inside is too, even if it's perfect.
Yeah, like overgrown bushes hiding the windows. Or a messy lawn.
Exactly. So the advice is pretty straightforward, really. Keep that lawn mowed, edge it nicely, trim the hedges. Fresh mulch in the flower beds can make a big difference.
It just looks cared for. Maybe a few potted plants by the door. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah, pop of colors, welcoming. And don't underestimate a good pressure wash for the siding or walkways. Gets rid of that winter grime.
Good point. And making sure outdoor lights work, tidying up the porch, getting rid of any clutter out there.
Right. You want them feeling good before they even open the door.
Okay, so they step inside. What's next? That feeling of space, or lack thereof.
Yes. Decluttering. This is probably one of the biggest things. Clutter just screams not enough space to a buyer.
Even if the house is actually quite big, right?
Oh, yeah. We saw that example. A 3,000 square foot home can feel like 2,500 if it's just jam-packed with stuff.
So the advice is clear surfaces.
Yeah.
Countertops, tables.
Clear them off as much as possible. And closets, you want them to look like there's room to spare. Maybe aim for like half empty.
Half empty, okay. That helps buyers imagine their own belongings fitting in.
Precisely. Because if they see every nook and cranny overflowing with your stuff, they subconsciously think, where will my things go? You're selling the idea of space.
It's like that phrase Mike uses, clutter eats your equity.
It really does. Less stuff just makes everything feel bigger and more valuable.
Okay, so decluttering is key. What about the type of stuff, like really personal items?
Yes. Neutralizing. It's a bit of a balancing act. You want it inviting, not sterile, but
maybe hide the giant movie poster collection or the very specific taxidermy.
exactly. Or that super bold wallpaper you love. It might be your taste, but it makes it harder for buyers to picture their life there. It's distracting.
So the idea is to create more of a blank canvas.
Kind of, yeah. Pack away most of the personal photos, the really loud decor, anything that's very you. Let the house's features shine: the floors, the light, the layout.
Makes sense. You want them looking at the house, not judging your decorating choices.
Right. Let them mentally move in.
Okay. House is decluttered, depersonalized. What about those little things we stop noticing? Like a door that sticks or a scuff on the wall?
Oh, buyers will notice those. Even tiny things. We get used to them, but a fresh pair of eyes sees them as potential warning signs.
Like, if they didn't fix this little thing, what else haven't they fixed?
Exactly that kind of thinking. It can make them judge the whole house more harshly. So the advice is definitely fix those minor issues before you list.
Don't wait for the home inspector to point them out.
Absolutely not. Walk through your house like you're a buyer. Or even better, get a friend or your realtor Mike, perhaps to give you an honest opinion. Fix the sticky drawer, touch up the paint scuffs.
Proactive repairs. Got it. Now, something that hits you right away when you walk in. Cleanliness. And maybe smells.
Huge factors, non-negotiables, really. Dirty floors, especially carpets, are an immediate turnoff. Buyers instantly start calculating the cost to replace them.
So cleaning is essential. What about replacement?
We'll definitely get carpets professionally cleaned first. If they're badly stained, worn, or, have pet odors, then yes, replacing them might be necessary. Choose something neutral. And polish those hardwood floors, make them gleam.
Okay, and smells. Pet smells. We get used to our own house smell, don't we?
Totally. It's called nose blindness. But buyers walking in fresh, they'll notice. Pet odors, evidence of pets like scratched doors or fur. It raises doubts. Allergies, cleaning costs, lingering smells.
So deep clean everything, maybe get it professionally done. And during showings.
Remove all signs of pets if you can. Food bowls, litter boxes, toys. Maybe even take the pets out for the showing. For really tough odors, an ozone machine might even be worth considering.
Wow, okay. Thorough. But what about adding scents, like air fresheners or baking cookies?
The scent debate. It's tricky. You want it to smell nice, obviously, but overpowering scents, especially artificial ones, can backfire.
Make people suspicious, like you're hiding something.
Exactly. Or trigger allergies. Even strong natural smells can be too much for some. The best bet: air out the house really well. If you must add a scent, keep it super light and natural. Subtle vanilla, maybe.
Okay, less is more with scents too. Got it. Now let's talk about saving money. What things do people think they need to fix, but maybe shouldn't? Big renovations.
Yeah, this is where Mike's advice is really helpful. Focus on small fixes with big impact, not massive overhauls you won't get your money back on.
Like updating light switch covers or cabinet handles.
Perfect examples. Cheap, easy, but they freshen things up. Contrast that with a full kitchen or bathroom remodel right before selling.
Probably not worth it unless you were doing it anyway.
Generally, no. It's expensive, and the buyer might just rip it out anyway if it's not their taste.
Yeah.
Better to do cosmetic stuff, paint the cabinets, change the hardware, maybe reglaze an old tub. Much cheaper, still looks fresh.
Okay, good to know. What about a biggie like the roof, if it's old but not leaking?
Fix any leaks for sure, but replacing a whole roof just for selling?
Okay.
Mike suggests probably not. Its age will likely come up in negotiations anyway, and you might not recoup the full cost.
Right. It becomes a negotiating point. Driveways. Minor cracks.
Usually not worth fixing minor cracks. The cost is high and the return is low. Focus on keeping it clean.
Okay. The front door. We talked about curb appeal. New door.
Not necessarily. Repainting or refinishing the existing one and updating the hardware often does the trick. Makes a great first impression without the cost of a whole new door system.
Smart. And old curtains or blinds.
Often, just taking them down is the best move, unless they're needed for privacy, of course. Let that natural light flood in. Makes rooms feel brighter and bigger. Maybe a little patching and painting where the brackets were.
Let the light in. Love it. Landscaping, we said keep it tidy, but no news for a major garden redesign.
Exactly. Tidy is key. Mow, edge, trim, mulch. Maybe add those potted flowers. But don't go overboard spending thousands on elaborate landscaping that the next owner might not even like or want to maintain. Keep it neat, clean, and welcoming. Pressure washing helps here too.
Makes sense. Keep it simple, keep it clean. Okay, inside, again, furniture. Too much furniture.
Yeah, that can definitely make rooms feel smaller than they are. You need space for buyers to walk around comfortably.
So maybe take some pieces out. Put them in storage.
It's often a really good idea, especially in bedrooms, like the primary bedroom. Mike mentioned making sure there's walk-around space on both sides of the bed. It sounds small, but it enhances that feeling of spaciousness. Renting a storage unit temporarily can be a lifesaver.
Creates better flow. Okay. What about more sensitive items, like political signs or religious symbols?
Good point. To appeal to the broadest possible audience, the advice is generally to pack those away during showings. You don't want to unintentionally alienate a potential buyer, regardless of their own beliefs. Keep it neutral.
And, sometimes it's just the basics,
Yeah.
like making the bed.
Oh, absolutely. Don't underestimate the power of simple tidiness. An unmade bed, dirty dishes in the sink, clothes on the floor. It just creates a negative vibe right away, no matter how nicely you've staged everything else.
So a quick tidy up before every single showing is crucial.
Non-negotiable. Make the beds, clear the counters, quick vacuum maybe. It shows respect for the buyer's time and that the home is cared for.
We've covered a lot. Curb appeal, decluttering, neutralizing, small repairs, cleaning, scents, smart fixes, furniture, tidiness.
Oh.
Wow.
It all boils down to removing reasons for a buyer to say no, right? Make it easy for them to see the potential and imagine themselves living there.
You're selling that opportunity, that future life in the house.
Exactly. And all this advice, drawing from Mike Montague's expertise, is designed to help PEI sellers do just that.
And speaking of Mike Montague, your island realtor from RE/MAX Charlottetown, who, again, provided the great content for today's dive, he has a fantastic offer for sellers. He's so committed to helping his clients succeed that he actually rebates the cost of a professional staging consultation to his sellers when their home closes.
Wow, that's a serious value add. Staging can make a huge difference.
A great incentive to work with Mike and get your home looking its absolute best.
Definitely something for listeners thinking of selling to consider.
Absolutely. So a big thank you again to Mike Montague for the insights today. And to all of you listening on PEI, if you found this deep dive useful, please do us a favor.
Like, subscribe, maybe share it with someone you know who's thinking of selling.
It really helps us keep the Hello PEI podcast growing and bringing you more content like this. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Until next time.